Unit 3 tutorial. At some point, you are going to want to load the records into your newly created database. You want to delete all the tables or drop all the objects. So let's invoke SQL Server Management Studio, and we will follow these steps to do the following. Okay, the first thing you want to do is open up a new query window. Make sure that the database that you point to is library database. And now what we are going to do is we are going to load the data into these empty tables. Note that in the previous demonstration, we added one record to the books table. Now we have to go in and delete that record so that the books table is empty, just like the rest of the tables in the database. This is how you manually delete a record in the table. Basically, position yourself to that record and right-click and then delete. After deleting the record, now you have a set of empty tables. Let's go to open the .dat file and load the data into the tables. What you see here is a set of insert commands, one set for each table, and if you scroll down, you will see that they are separated by the go command. This is how you execute a batch script. What you also notice is that in this window, there isn't any way for you to execute the script. Why is that? That is because the file is actually a .dat file and not a .sql file. So in order to execute this, we have to copy this whole thing into a new window. That new window will be automatically defined as a SQL executable window. You do a right click and then copy and then paste into a newly opened window. Now you see that you can execute it, and once you execute the script, the result is that a whole bunch of records are added to each of the tables. Go ahead and refresh the database windows, and then you can go into each of the tables and take a look, and now you see that when you do a select, you see the data coming back in the result window. So for each of the tables, you will see that there are a set of records. Now you can try to open the next script, which is the delete all tables, and bring it into the active query windows. There they are. Each one for each of the tables, there's a delete. Execute this and you will empty out your database. Oops. Okay, you see what's wrong right there? The database is pointing to the wrong database. It's pointing to master database. Our data, our tables are in the library database. So you can have a choice. You can go to the screen and issue the command to use library database, or you can just go to the open window in the ribbon and click on the open window and select the right database. Now execute, and you will see that all the records are dropped for all tables. Delete command is very different from drop command. When you delete a table, you delete all the records inside the table and you leave the table empty. A drop command drop the table and remove it entirely from the database. So the next step, you will see how it works. Okay, we go out and bring in the drop_all.sql file. Here are all the drop commands for the table. Execute this and you will see that all of the objects tables will be dropped. There you are. Now let's check the library database. After you hit a refresh, go back and take a look at the tables, and they are all gone. The only one left is the system tables. You should take the time to practice the scripts and the commands within the script. The worst thing that you can do is mess up, and when you mess up, you can always drop the database and recreate by loading the discovering script. So here is to delete the database. You right click on the database and you delete. Now this comes back with an error. The reason is because it is saying that there is still active connections inside the database. You have to allow the database to drop all connections before deletion. And so here you are. After the database is deleted successfully, you can reload by rerunning the discovering library SQL script as shown here. There, you get your library back and successfully. So after you have your library database already reloaded, let's go to page 115 and do a couple of segments on the try it out on page 115. Open up a new query window. The first thing we want to do is in number 2, delete my library. As you can see here, when you click on execute, you get an error. Okay, it is because the table is not there, and if the table is not there, then you cannot delete, which is okay. If the table is not there, then we don't need to have any concern. But then you cannot insert something into something that is not there. Okay, in this case, this is an error. We will have to create the table before we do the insert and execute that. You see that we created the table. The syntax for the table creation is on page 113. Executing that query, the table is created. Now, go back to number 2 and insert into the table My Library the values that is shown on the statement in number 2. As you can see, this is a text column, and it is a long column. So there's a lot of free form characters in here. Execute that, and the record is created. We can check the table My Library and look at the record, and here it is. This is a newly created table with one record. Expand that, and you will see the description or the values of the column, the first column. So now, after exploring the newly created table and record, go to step 3 to run the query below to determine the location of the first semicolon. Oops, there is a syntax problem in this query. If you take a look at the statement, you will see that it is having one parenthesis too many on the right hand side. So we fix that problem and execute the query again. There's another problem. Here the problem is obvious. As you can see, the My Library does not have a column named book. It has a column named all my books, all underscore my underscore books. And after you fix that, execute, here is your result.